Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the December 14th Al-Anon readings in Courage to Change and a Little Time for Myself. We'll begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Again, with a little time for myself. I'll just take a moment to look over the reading. The question of the day is, how has taking what I like and leaving the rest helped my recovery? The reading is about the slogan, take what you like and leave the rest, and also how it relates to step 2, which is came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. The person who wrote this passage did not like the word sanity because it brought up a lot of difficult things for them. So they employed the slogan, take what you like and leave the rest. And they decided to interpret it in their own way so they could focus on their own recovery without feeling hurt. Today's reminder tells us that when we take what we like and leave the rest, we are truly free to do what works for us. And then the quote is from Courage to Change. When we take what we like and leave the rest, we can follow our own heart while still benefiting from the experience, strength, and hope of others. So how has taking what I like and leaving the rest, how has that helped my recovery? I think that it has helped my recovery in so many ways because it always reminds me that I can do what works for me. So what that means is if I'm not ready to hear something, or if something just hits me the wrong way, I can dismiss it for now. And maybe the next time I hear it, it won't affect me the same way. But because each of us are so individual and we go through our recovery very individually, it's important that we give ourselves permission to use what works for us and not bother with the rest until, excuse me, until there may be a time when we see things differently, or maybe not. Maybe we come across the same thing and we decide to kind of dismiss it or just kind of ignore it, look past it. It's fine, because we all need to do what works for us. So I love the slogan, take what you like and leave the rest. It gives us the freedom to recover in our own way, which is the only way that we can recover. How about you? How has taking what you like and leaving the rest helped your recovery, helped you recover? All right, great reading. Love this book. Every day that I read is brand new to me because it's my first year owning that book. But now we're moving on to the tried and true, as I call it. All right, I'm just going to take a moment. There's a tab on this page All right, take a moment to read. This is a beautiful reading about dealing with loss and how to use what we learn in our program to move through it. Move through it at our own pace. The passage starts off with talking about the many different forms of loss and how we can feel absolutely devastated. How we can rely on step one, realize that we're powerless. Live with the pain with the help of our program and our fellowship, and eventually move through it. Today's reminder talks about how loss is a part of life, and we really can't avoid it. But with our program to support us, we can move through anything that comes our way. And the quote is from In All Our Affairs. It talks about the foundation that we benefit from when we work our program, and that how our program works when things are going well, and it works really, really well when things are going badly. And that reminds me that when I first came to Al-Anon, I was in a crisis situation, and Al-Anon sustained me through that challenging period. And that was more than 10 years ago. And although my approach to the meetings is a little bit different now because I'm not in crisis, I am forever grateful and usually very aware every time I attend a meeting how much I was helped from the very first time I went to a meeting, and how at home and welcomed and safe I felt. And such a huge sense of relief talking about this mentions how we're powerless over some loss that happens in our lives. We just can't control it. Even though we are powerless when certain things happen, we are not powerless when it comes to feeling connected, which is huge, and feeling accepted, and feeling a part of humanity. Which sounds funny, but what I mean is, when I was at my lowest, I didn't feel like I belonged, like, to the human race. I didn't feel, I know that sounds so silly, and even me saying it is like, wow, but I really didn't. I didn't really feel worthy. And Al-Anon helped me to realize that I was worthy. And because we're all worthy, we're all equally worthy, no more, no less than anybody else. So it's a good reminder. And it's interesting because my partner is dealing with the first holiday season without his mom because his mom passed away in January of 2024. So it's interesting because I can't help him move through it. There's nothing I can do to help him feel less of a loss. So there is a sense of powerlessness for me. But at the same time, someone that I volunteer with at the thrift shop, I was telling her about, she also has an Al-Anon background. I was telling her about the fact that my partner's having, a challenging time because it's the first holiday season without his mom. And she couldn't stop thinking about it, and she brought me something that is just a beautiful, it's kind of a poem. It's poetic for sure. And it's just about, like, it's written from the person who passed, like it's written from their point of view about being in heaven and being safe and being the first one to greet their loved one when it's their time to come to heaven. And gosh, I didn't realize how heavy I was feeling with it. But when I read it, I just burst into tears, which is not like me. It was just so beautiful. And the fact that she was thinking of us and, that to me, that makes me feel connected and accepted. And it makes me feel like loved and cared for. And it's a really good feeling. And even though this didn't happen at an Al-Anon meeting, it helped with another person who has a background in Al-Anon. And it just made me feel so good, and I'm so grateful for it. So interesting that it just happened, and then here's this reading. But we'll close out with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.